So what's up guys, welcome again to Kanji Club. Today we are going to continue practicing writing hiragana. As we said, writing hiragana is not by copying only. You cannot just copy for example hiragana like 5 times and expect yourself to know how to write it with the right proportion and in a straight vertical line or a horizontal line. You need you need more information. Okay, so in the previous videos we practiced the A line, the vowels, the K line, kakiko keko, the S line, sashizu teso, tachitu teso, L line, na ni no ni no, ha line, ha hi hu he ho, and today we're gonna practice the M line, ma mi mu me mo, ma mi mu me mo. So we are done with the previous lines. Now, ma, okay, is very slim, actually, when you write it down. Okay, so it is 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. If we try to notice the relation within the sizes, so in the middle line you try to make it almost equal, not equal, almost equal. So 1/3, 2/3, and the 3rd. Okay, if you draw here, this is the first. If you draw here 2 lines, the vertical imaginary line and a vertical imaginary line here, parallel to each other. Okay, you will almost write it down using these parallel vertical lines. So you control this way, you control the size of the first and the second stroke, in addition to the circle, the circular end. So if you notice, here is almost all on the same line. This way you will keep the proportion right. Okay, and then when you will need to stop, to decide where to stop, you have here another imaginary line. You see here imaginary line. So this way you can see that the distance between the middle line and the imaginary line on the right and on the left are almost equal. This way you controlled the size of the first, the second, and the third, and the bottom part of the stroke. Okay, this way you will write it in a slim way, as we talked about in the previous videos, that the shapes of hiragana sometimes give you a slim rectangle. Okay, now me it's 2 strokes. If you notice, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. What I care about is if there is a line here, the beginning of this line will control where do you make the bend, this circular shape. Okay, so if you draw here a line, it will make it, you will know how to draw this line to decide where to start drawing your circle, this part. You see this? Okay, and then once you try to continue the line where there is circle line, the line at the end of the circle, you just need to continue on the last stroke, the second, which is the last stroke. Okay, try to keep in mind that this one is, if there is an oblique line here, this one is lower than this one. Okay, so it's not, so this way you will decide where do you stop. Okay, and as you can see, you can stop in the midline. Okay, you can stop in the midline. Pretty easy, really. Okay, so now there is a line here, imaginary line. You will draw your circle and extend. Then you're gonna draw your last stroke touching the midline. You start with the midline, you end with the midline. Okay, so next, mu, 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 the first line, the second. Now, the whole line here is vertical to the horizontal line. The point, what we need to know is where to locate this. If you draw a line here, and you draw a line extending from the end of the mu, you will reach almost a 90 degree, okay, from here and from here. The intersection between these imaginary two lines, almost 90 degree, here is where you need to put your final stroke. So 1 and 2 and 3. In addition, try to keep these almost the same in a straight line, an imaginary line, almost the same. So you don't make it big and you don't make it smaller, almost the same line. Okay, these dimensions will help you to write correctly. Okay, so you have here a line, imaginary line, you have here imaginary line, you have the intersection. Okay, I like to keep this part longer than this part. It's not almost like 2/3, but it's more than a half of this part, you see, so it's not in the middle. Next, mu, me. We are done with mu. We are now going to me. Me is I think it needs a little bit of practice. 1, 2. Okay, the first stroke is gonna is shorter, or let's say is lower than the second stroke, and it's almost touching the midline. Once you touch the midline, you start again by the midline. You see the movements of first stroke, second stroke. This one is higher than this one. Now when you go down by the second stroke, you try to make this almost the same line or a little bit longer, a little bit lower. That's fine. So let this stroke guide you where you need to start to bend to make the circle. So you don't go lower than that. This way you will manage the balance. If you try to practice this, you will understand what do I mean. So this is a little bit higher, and then almost the same, almost the same level. And then when you bend to go back to the midline, horizontal midline, if you notice this circular, you know where to decide to stop. Okay, if you write by a brush, you will know what do I mean, like you want to make it slimmer, you know, by the end of the brush, but this is just a pen or a marker, so it's not maybe obvious to you. But when you make this circular by a brush, you need to prepare yourself to know where to stop. If you draw here imaginary line, you will keep the balance. Okay guys, so this one is gonna be lower than the the beginning of a circular line. And by the way, this one is a little bit not a full circle, not a real circle. It's like a circle, but with a very tiny straight line. So I go down by this way, then I go up as if it is not very circular movement, okay, and then a circle again. Please bear in mind these hints when you try to write your me. And just a reminder, be aware that me and nu are very similar. People easily confuse between them, okay? So just review this table when we talked about the sounds in the previous videos. Now, mo, mo, mo. One, the first one, 2, 3. So 1, 2, and 3. I like to keep it like a third, almost not fully third, but somehow this is a shorter one and this is a longer distance. Okay? Now, when you start by the midline, you draw here in the imaginary line a straight line, as if your stroke is resting on your midline, on your imaginary parallel line to your midline. So this is midline, imaginary parallel line, and you are resting your mu from the beginning of the midline to the resting to the imaginary line, and then you go down to you go back to the midline. Once you reach the midline, you start to make the circular move to end it. So you see how the midline is controlling actually when you decide to change to bend the character. I hope this is clear to you guys. Now, the second and third are pretty easy. This one is a little bit longer, okay, just a little bit, doesn't mean it's not that major. So 1 and 2, and please bear in mind that this one stop, the tip of the end is stop almost the same level as the midline as the second stroke. So the first stroke, second and third, I mean, third stroke almost on the same level. Okay. So guys, practice these notes. It will make your hiragana balanced, I'm sure. And let me know if you have different methods. I don't mind if you used any other methods. Our goal is to make it straight, horizontal, vertical line with the right proportion. So it's easy for the Japanese to read your text. Okay? Anyway, guys, we are done with the ma, mi, mu, me, mo. We're gonna study ya, you, yo, okay, in the next video. See ya.